What's up, man? It's your boy, Oski Songhai. We're here at the Science Museum. We're gonna finally break down some things, you know, the truth actually, you know what I'm saying, about what's really good, who really designed these things, who really developed a lot of the information that you're gonna see up in here, you know, because there's a lot of lies that's out there, you know, a lot of liars out there. So we're gonna go up in here. We're gonna keep it cool, you know, because usually I like to go wild, you know, but we're gonna keep it cool, and I'm gonna quietly show you the truth. You know, there's a lot of lies in here, so we're gonna have a good time. You're gonna come with me. We're gonna go up in here, and we're gonna see what's up. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want them to see out the camera right now. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm gonna do is, because you know what happened last time. You know, y'all seen it with Patah. So you know what's gonna happen is I'm gonna go up in there. We're gonna see what's up, you know what I'm saying? First I'm gonna put the camera away, but then I'm gonna show you, but and all this and all that. And we're talking about time, space, and all this, you know what I'm saying? So let's get into it. BLACKBOOKT.V, Science Museum.
Make sure you subscribe to #BLACKBOOKT.V, #BLACKBOOKT.V. You know, I was at this museum. It was dope, you know, nice weather that day. Kind of cold, chilly, you know, but it was nice, you know. Had me a veggie burger for the first time in a long time, and it was dope, man. I exposed the lies that was up in there, so make sure you check it out. Let's do it. BLACKBOOKT.V.
We're down here at the Charles River exhibits inside the museum right now. We're about to really get into it. So, yeah, let's look around. There's some horses, a domestic horses head.
Domestic cow.
What is it? Equus cabalis. That's the Latin name for it. Equus cabalis.
Like the one you described would not be found in the Sahara Desert. The anthropologists say you may have made an error in the classification of your pottery shard. Go back or start over to correctly classify your shard. What color is your pottery? Congratulations, you correctly classified your shard. Clay treated pottery is common in the Southwest. This pottery is typical of the Nogarian people, but it is not native to this site. Let's start
I got these signs up here for you. If you're a parent, make sure you check these signs out, alright? These signs are not for play. This is why a lot of kids are getting snatched up. Alright, the government already documented these signs. They're telling you to look out for them. They're not putting it out there on the news, of course. That's why BLACKBOOKT.V is here. Look at these signs on the internet. Look at these signs everywhere. They are everywhere, alright? These are child snatching signs. So make sure you look at them, alright?
What's that look like? That look like Pizzagate to me. Look like Pizzagate to me. What goes on down here? That's where they snatch up all the children. That's where they meet up. Why is that there? So close to home. Museum, huh? Alright, let's take a look around. Let's break down some shit. Hey guys, museum. Look at all these. Ooh. Topaz. Nice. That's a quartz crystal. Ooh. That's a quartz crystal. Let me see, do they talk about it? High temperature pressure. You see, they ain't talking about the truth. You know, Africans used to use the quartz crystal as a way to, you know, astral project. You know, as a way to heighten your vibration.
You know, this is a quartz. So in order for you to heighten your vibration, stuff like that, you would use that right there, that quartz. My peoples who's on Instagram, y'all should know what the quartz crystal is, you know. Y'all should be used to it. So this is look at that quartz right there. Look like a piece of ice. Can you imagine how powerful that is? You know? Blue quartz, look at that.
And a walrus ivory cribbage board. Colby probably collected them in Alaska and Africa.
So Colby, I guess they're saying, went to Africa, killed a lot of animals and stuff. And he used to hang it up in his house.
Show the gun collection over there.
Oh, yup, there we go. That's perfect. Look at that, he got rifles. Yeah, long range rifles too. That'd be nice. Alrighty, so what we're looking at right now is the so-called Homo sapiens. Well, they're not really so-called, they are Homo sapiens. But what we understand is that there was no Lucy. So we gotta put that into consideration. There was no Lucy. There was no as far as us, we didn't come from no monkeys, alright? So I just want to let you guys know that as far as African people, we did not come from monkeys. So I'm going to let you know that now, alright? The Homo sapiens, and the whole out of Africa theory and the whole, you know, coming upright and all that is a lie. And we know that Lucy, the reason why I say Lucy is not a part of us is because when you look at mitochondrial DNA, which is when you look at the cell, and then the mitochondrial DNA will be the oldest part, or should I say the oldest part of that DNA, should I say, when you look at the mitochondrial DNA. I can show you a picture. And when you look at that, she does not have human meaning human color, man, so it's prefix. She does not have our DNA, she has monkey DNA. Alright, so she's a monkey, you know what I'm saying? We don't come from that, you know what I'm saying? We've been like this. You know what I'm saying? They don't know where the oldest human came from. 1 minute it's in Africa, 1 minute it's in America, 1 minute it's in Europe. At the end of the day, it's still black, but they don't know where the oldest human came from, so don't let them confuse you with that, you know, that whole thing. Because what they're telling you is also, they're telling you that, oh, you came from monkeys, which is, Africa, and then you developed into a white man, the new man. That's what that means. So when you say you believe in the out of Africa theory, you're basically saying that the new man, the new person is the white person, and the old monkeys was the black people. So make sure y'all know that. Look at the animal. Cotton top tamarines. They're from South America.
Long tail.
You wanna go to the butterfly room? Huh? Hey! You wanna go to the butterfly room?
Oh. Hello. So cute.
So am I. Alright. Let's go, shall we?
Come on.
It really does make me feel ill. I think tarantulas are mostly harmless though, aren't they?
I have no idea.
Yes, actually, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you know that.
Like I know that they do have like poison, but it's not.
Look at
I don't
that.
think it's.
They don't go after you.
Well, I don't think it's.
Thorny
human
devil
harmless.
walking sticks.
I think it's mostly
Yes.
harming the smallest things.
When you read about the scarab beetle in ancient Egypt, it represents creation, supposedly. That's why they have the beetle rolling up the dung, which is their feces. they roll it up, actually use it for other things, but it represents creation. So that's what they used the scarab beetle for at one time. So they used to look at the beetle at its natural habitat, you know, and they'll use the beetle for symbolism. Yep. But as you can see, this is a different beetle. It's not the same one though. And we're gonna continue.
Today is Sunday.
Alrighty. Looks like we're out of here.
That was it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, do you see the wave? So look, you see the wave? There, on the top.
Yeah. Represents the Charles River's waves outside. So that is that. Yeah, so this is the largest air insulated, right? It creates electricity, more than millions of volts of electric static shock. Built in 1933, but it's no coincidence because around that same time they stole Nikola Tesla's work, which is the guy who actually invented this. So make sure you check him out, all right? So you see this, right? And all you guys gotta do, right? All you guys gotta do is look up Nikola Tesla. It's that simple. And Nikola Tesla stole that work from our ancient ancestors, and also, you know, spirits and, you know, other stuff that he claimed communicated to him and stuff like that. So make sure you study Nikola Tesla. All right? He was building stuff like this in the early 20s and 30s, and they stole his work. All right. So when they're talking about you know, create electricity out of thin air and power plants and stuff like that, make sure you look up Nikola Tesla. He created it. He actually did it. He built it. And in Africa, though, our generators are pyramids. You know what I'm saying? So that's why you might see, or you might have heard of limestone was on the side of the pyramids at one point. The limestone was on the side of the pyramids so it can conduct electricity from the sun. And it was like a bigger version of this. All right, so when you look at the pyramids in Egypt, it's a huger version of this. We already did it, which was built prior to the people who claim they say built them. So it's not 2,000 years old, probably not even 4,000 years old. It's probably 5,000 years old, the pyramids that you see in Egypt. So they had already had that stuff handed down to them. With this, what's dope about Nikola Tesla is even though he's a white guy, he actually figured out a way to conduct electricity. And he also said that there's no such things as atoms. He said it himself. So the guy who conducted this, the real guy who they stole the work from, actually said that there's no such things as atoms. So we gotta make sure that's crystal clear. Nikola Tesla made this first. All you gotta do is look him up. You can Google search him. They stole his work and now they got some guy named Van de Graaff, this is considered the Van de Graaff generator. It's not generating a goddamn thing. So we gotta let you know that, all right? Nikola Tesla actually built it. He stole this work in 1933. So make sure you know the truth, all right? Oh, they're about to start. I think they're about to start.
No.
No? I'm about to say. So make sure you look up Nikola Tesla, all right? He's the guy who actually built this stuff. You know?
That's it. Cut it.
Huh? Oh, yeah. Just look around. I wanna just show you this one. So for example, they may tell you the first camera, right? First camera was built in let's say 17th, 18th century, they'll say, right? But you know what's funny? They took a picture of the first camera with a camera. How the hell do you take a picture of the first camera with a camera if you didn't have a camera in the first place? So make sure you subscribe to BLACKBOOKT.TV and you'll figure out why that's BS, and you'll figure out why that's BS too. Because Nikola Tesla actually made it. He actually regenerated it. And Van de Graaff stole his work in 1933. So make sure you look that up, all right?
Oh, that's amethyst. That represents Aquarius. Oh, so if you're Aquarius, that's amethyst. That's your birthstone. All right. Purple is your birthstone. That represents intuitive abilities. So if you're an Aquarius, a lot of times you may have thoughts of, I think I already knew this. Or if you're Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra, you have the intuitive abilities to do things, or you have the ability to have intuitive abilities. So you may already know something that you probably didn't already know before. There goes my jacket. So just follow me while I'm talking about it. But yeah, you may have already known something that you didn't already know before. That's just called intuitive abilities. You have to get those abilities even deeper once you put on the amethyst stone. The amethyst stone actually helps with your vibrations because it connects with your crown chakra. Your crown chakra actually helps with your intuitive abilities. So you eat a lot of things that's purple and stuff like that. You see how the amethyst is purple? So you eat a lot of things that's purple and dark pigment from the sun, because the sun has electromagnetic colors, so it'll tell you what it's for. So the purple is actually for your neurons. It's to help not only clean your brain and so on and so forth, but actually helps your neurons and help not only the neurons in your brain, but your heart too. That's why I said electromagnetic abilities is very important. And if you look at the heart episode, make sure you look at that. I got 100 views, thank you for that. But 109 views actually. But if you look at the heart episode, I explained that the heart doesn't pump. The blood actually flows through electromagnetic influx abilities. So the blood pump basically on its own through magnetic abilities. You can get that magnetic ability through fruits and vegetables, but mostly through vegetables. You get your electricity from the fruits. So you get electricity from the fruits, you get your magnetism, magnesium, you get your magnetism from the vegetables. So make sure you look at that, all right? Stuff like that. And the eagle. Did you know? Did you know? See, they're gonna put America right there. That's to confuse you. All right. Whenever you see it's to mess up your psyche, to make you think. Whenever I see an eagle, I'm gonna think of America. What you have to remember is America is a carbon copy. America. Did you press the button? All right. Just remember that America is a carbon copy of Egypt. All right. So what that means is the same way you have Memphis. You have Memphis in America, you have Memphis in Africa, right? Memphis, Tennessee. You have Memphis in Africa, Memphis, where the kings live, where most of the kings lived and stuff like that in Africa. Just like you have the eagle right here, right? That represents so-called, America. The eagle represented the same way the eagle represents, leadership and stuff like that. In America, it was the same way in Africa. The eagle represented the same thing, or the hawk. But specifically, we're going to talk about the eagle because the eagle could, while flying, it could fly over storms. So while it's a thunderstorm outside, while other birds go inside trees, an eagle actually could fly over a storm, right? While it flies over the storm, it can wait until the storm is over. And once the storm is over, then it could come back and fly back down. Also, it can look directly at, while the sun is in its eyes, it can still continue flying. So remember that the eagle represented Egypt at one time before it represented America, because America is a carbon copy. When you look at the four kingdoms, represented red, white, and blue. White represented Upper Egypt, red represented Lower Egypt, and so on and so forth. The blue represented the Nile River. You understand where red, white, and blue actually came from. So we got to make sure we put that into context and where the eagle actually came from. So wanted to make sure you put that into context, all right? Because they're lying to you. There's a lot of liars. A lot of liars. Alright, so after humans last visited the moon, right, in 1972, there was still many questions about our nearest neighbor. Right? Also, they changed it up because they don't want you to know about the guy who first landed on there. Right? So I think one of the things y'all have to know, right? This is not a conspiracy, this is actually true. Because everything I say is true. As far as this, the moon, right? First of all, it's always out. All right, it don't go down in the daytime and it comes up. The moon is always out. In fact, it's outside as I was coming inside here. It's a crescent moon once you go outside right now. in Boston in the Science Museum. It's a crescent moon, right? The crescent just means, you know, it's like a shape. I was gonna say moon shape. It's a shape like that, right? And what's interesting about this is that the guy who said that we're gonna go downstairs into the moon exhibit. I'm gonna show you. The guy who said Neil Armstrong? Yeah, Neil Armstrong. Neil Armstrong said, I believe early 1970s, late 1960s, when they asked him about the moon, he said he'd never been there. He said that was a lie. Ain't that something? It's quoted verbatim. He said he'd never been to the moon. And the second guy, the second man who went to the moon, said he'd never been to the moon. He said it was made up.
Oh, shit.
That's why they didn't put it right here. That's why they hurried up and changed it up. Because they never been there. It's actually, we're gonna, that's one we'll keep it low. It's actually a space station, right? They don't know if it's a space station or if it's holographic per se, but it's actually, if you want to leave it up to me, I think it's a space station that's actually able to see, you know, us and stuff like that. But they never been there. Neil Armstrong said himself that he never been there. He said it. The second man who went to the moon said he never been there. Now, if you want more proof, all you gotta do is go to the museum where you see his footprints, right? And compare it to his actual boots that he had, the space boots. Now you look at the bottom of his space boots and then look at the footprints where they claim that he was stepping on the moon because they cut it out.
So here goes the proof, man. They never been on the moon. Here goes the footprints. Here goes, you know, more evidence of just, you know, BS. You know, they just get paid to lie to you every day. And because I know you guys wasn't gonna look it up, so I did it for you. Here goes the proof. Here goes the footprints. Here goes the spacesuit. You know, it was all fake. It was all staged. You don't see no stars in the background, no planets, no nothing. So just remember that. You know, you even got Jim Carrey joking around about it on live TV. So that's how serious it is.
They've run out of anecdotes, you know, and they just start making stuff up.
Yeah.
Like that Neil Armstrong guy. Have you seen him on the talk shows?
Neil Armstrong, you mean the first man to walk on the moon?
Talk about a fish story.
Yeah.
Man, and they're buying it.
Oh, yeah.
When you look, it's actually two different prints. The print for his sneaker is actually different from the print that he was leaving on the moon, and it's actually in the museum. So how did he actually? So for one, he said he never did it once he was on broadcasted news, and they printed it out on the paper. And for two, the two prints, the print that was on his shoe and the print that's actually on the moon, was it the real print? So just want to let you know that. Oh, also, they don't know. Also, that the moon isn't no. It's not no thousands of miles away. It ain't no millions of miles away. The moon is actually inside, just like the Bible says. The Bible is coded, by the way. We're gonna get into that soon. But the Bible's coded, by the way. It talks about the firmament, that God put us inside of a firmament. God or gods put us inside of a firmament with the moon inside, with the moon and sun already inside of it. So we're inside of a sort of dome type of thing with the moon already inside of it. It's not no millions of miles away, just like the sun. The sun isn't no millions of miles away. If that was the case, I'm gonna say it like this. You know for sure that the sun isn't no big thing because everywhere will have the same temperature. How was it 42 degrees over here, 52 degrees over here, 32? How was it in California? There's mountains over there. How was it 50 degrees at the mountains, but when you go to Nevada, the desert, it's 100 degrees? So that's how you know.
And it's supposed to be underneath the same sun.
Exactly. And the sun is not that. That's how you know the sun isn't that huge. It's actually smaller than what you realize. And it goes through it's called a corosal, right? So that way it's equally able to give light better, so equally throughout the, this realm called Earth, right? So, but yeah, the moon, Neil Armstrong said he never did it. He said it, it's not me saying it. Neil Armstrong said he never been on the moon. And the second man who claimed to have been on the moon said he never been on the moon. So we just gotta make that clear. And you can look at his shoes, again, look at his shoes. If you ever go to the museum, just look at the bottom of his shoes and look at the footprints of the moon. It's that simple. It's no conspiracy. Just look at the footprints and then look at what Neil Armstrong said. And then the conspiracy's over. So let that be known. As you can see, As you can see, there's a lot going on. This is the where they supposedly get you prepared to go out of space. You know what I'm saying? So, you know. Let's take a trip. This is BLACKBOOKT.V.
The station is about as big as a football field, and it has around the same space on the inside as a 5-bedroom house. The simulation you're about to enter will give you a look at just one room, or module, of the space station. This simulation of the space station rotates around you to help you feel some of the disorientation astronauts experience during the first few days in space, as their senses are still
They got
adjusting.
an anti-gravity device. One of the ways you
When
can
your
figure out
sense of
they have
balance
that
doesn't
is
match up
because
with what you're seeing,
Michael Jackson
you
actually
end up
used it
feeling a little
when he was
dizzy.
going forward.
If
It
you
cost
start
$2
to feel
million.
sick, just close your eyes and hold onto the rail, and the feeling should pass. Now, enjoy your time on the International Space Station.
Thank you. Feels spacey in here.
You know what's interesting about space and outer space? You know they have to have the exact right amount of weight, because if they don't have the exact right amount of weight, then it can actually mess up. So they gotta be very precise about how much weight they actually carry on the space shuttles.
If you start to feel sick, hold onto the rails and close your eyes and the feeling should go away. The whole thing's gonna last about 4 minutes. We can leave at any time. Just exit to the back and to the right. But please don't touch the walls or let anything drop or hang over the sides because we'll shut off the simulation. Thank you.
It's gonna get a little interesting in this. Hold on here.
I'm NASA astronaut Nicole Stott. Welcome to the International Space Station. I've traveled to space 2 times now, living and working on the space station and helping NASA move people and equipment safely from Earth to orbit and back again. But we want to go farther than that. We want to explore the solar system and journey to another planet, moon, or asteroid. To prepare ourselves, we've constructed a tool like nothing else the Earth has ever seen. To prepare yourself, by the way, you might want to hold on to
And we're not even really moving. It looks like it.
feel dizzy,
Oh,
just
only that
close your
wall is
eyes
moving. That's
and the
why.
feeling should pass.
And it makes you feel like
See,
we're going in
this is a
circles.
tool unlike any on Earth because it isn't actually on the Earth. It's orbiting 250 miles above the Earth. The International Space Station has been my home for 3.5 months over the course of 2 missions. The room you're in now is a small but important part of the station, the Destiny Science Laboratory, where astronauts are doing the work that will shape our future in space.
Hi, I'm astronaut and Commander Mike Fossum. I've lived on the International Space Station for over 6 months. Now I'd like to show you around the Destiny Laboratory. On Earth, there isn't a good way to replicate the long periods of weightlessness we would experience on a trip to another planet. But the space station and everything on it are weightless for as long as the station stays in orbit. There's no up or down in space, but to keep us oriented, the station is arranged to at least give it a floor and a ceiling. The labels are all the same way, and on the real space station, the lights and fans all run along the edges of the ceiling. You need to get used to the sound of those fans on the ISS. They aren't here simply to keep us cool. When you exhale in space, your breath doesn't float or fall away. It just cools around your head. Without fans to keep the air moving, you could suffocate on your own breath, so they have to be on all the time. The Destiny Laboratory isn't huge, but there's plenty of equipment packed into this space. The walls are lined with science racks. Each one is like a miniature laboratory contained in a cabinet, holding its own weightless experiment. So much of what we're used to on Earth is affected by gravity. We need to relearn how everything works in a weightless environment, including our own bodies, if we want to spend long periods in space. We do experiments here on everything from putting out floating fires to finding the best ways to grow plants in weightlessness to observing the changes that occur in our organs, muscles, and bones. The knowledge we gain from these experiments will help us stay safe as our trips through space get longer.
There's no actual real photos of planets. You know, when they claim that they found the real planet, there's no real photos of it. It's all CGI. So when they claim that they found the real planets, they don't really know for sure. You know, gotta put that into context. Okay. They don't know for certain. They never seen a real one. They never been to one. They just lying. Okay, so they never been outside the. They never been outside the firmament or the the atmosphere. They never been outside of it because they can't. It's too hot. In fact, they say it's not me. So make sure you study that. Study the firmament. Study the different atmospheres that's around the Earth. Once you study the different atmospheres, you understand that the heat pressure and the pressure is too much for any space vehicle or metal for it to penetrate through. So once you study that, once you study the, it's really going on, like I said, Right, so as you can see, we got Pythagorean theorem. We got Pythagoras, who they claimed he built structures using a specific pattern. I was looking at this right here. Anybody who studies fractal mathematics, if you don't know what fractals are, it's when you take something big, it's has the same ratio in, say, mathematics as something that's smaller. So like when you study fractals, you'll get into something big is the same as something small, pretty much. That goes into as above, so below, which is our ancient, African stuff. So as you can see this, you may wonder what is this, right? They use this. This is the same as this. Remember, if you look at the sun episode that I made, it talks about the sun pretty much sends messages using photosynthesis to the plants, but it can't. The message that it sends is it's perfect, too perfect, to the point where every plant, every tree has a curve. No tree is straight. You'll never find a piece of grass that's straight.
Yeah.
You'll never find a tree that's straight. There's always going to be a curve.
Oh, shit.
You're always going to find a curve. So if you ever miles away from a tree or something like that, always going to see a curve because it's always following the Fibonacci sequence. Fibonacci sequence has a specific coded numbers. Those codes come from the sun, again through photosynthesis. So that's why the pineal gland, the pine cone is very important. All of it follows the Fibonacci sequence. So when you study the Fibonacci sequence, you realize that it's much older than Pythagoras. He didn't invent this. It's a lie. This is stuff you can read about. He was taught that. He didn't come across it. Just like, they talk about the telescope. So when they found the telescope, they claimed that they found it. But where they found it at, they didn't really have no sand. You know what I'm saying? But when you look at where the telescope is really from, because when you create a telescope, the glass that it's made out of is made out of a certain specific sand that they get. So they use sand to create those telescopes. So if you go into an area or a place that's very mountainous, you're not going to find much sand. So that's how you know that a lot of these people didn't create what they say they created. They came across it. And there's nothing wrong with that, you know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with coming across information. The Greeks was taught it. The Greeks was taught, which I believe he's one of them. A lot of the Greeks was taught from Egypt, from the Egyptians, and a lot of Asia, from Asia Minor. When you look at study Asia Minor is where the ancient Egyptians, they ran it. It was all black. So that's where the Europeans, the Greeks went. They went to Asia Minor to study from black people in order to learn about all this. So had they not went to Asia Minor, because Asia was at one point ran by black people, when you study Asia Minor, you realize that Pythagoras and all of them went to Asia Minor in order to study the Fibonacci sequence. They studied fractals, which is part of mathematics, and they studied all this to realize that everything is not what you think it is. So also the Star of David has a lot to do with it. They call it the Star of David, but it ain't really called the Star of David. So AB plus B divided by AB plus BC, CD. And that's how you get your, But yeah, all this is already made, pretty much. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Nobody from here created this. It's not, that was already designed. In fact, one of the oldest models that you can find, Pythagoras, I won't even gonna say his name. Fractals and the Fibonacci sequence is in Africa, so, and Ireland too. Ironically, Ireland too. So you look at Ireland, You look at Africa, you're gonna find the oldest relics of that. You're not gonna find it from Pentecost or the Greeks because they learned it from Asia Minor. If you study history. Let's keep it going. This is nice. This is perfect. Maybe we might come across something, right? Maybe. And look right here. The Black Plague. Right? Now, why do they call it the Black Plague? This is in 1350. You see the castles and shit, stuff that's made and stuff that's made. Now, why do they call it the Black Plague, right? They call it the Black Plague because that's when black people ran up in there. Black people ran up in there, took over Europe for a good 800 years, and they helped them build them castles. So when you look on and you see Beowulf, and you see his castles and stuff, the Moors made it. Moor means black. So the Moors went up in there in 1350 and built those castles. So that's why it's called the Black Plague. It ain't because all this death is... Well, there was death going on because they wasn't cleaning themselves. They didn't know how to brush their teeth. They didn't know how to take a shower. A lot of the Europeans didn't know how to do none of that stuff. So it took Moors who came from Spain because they ran Spain for 700 years. These are black. They came from Northern Africa. So the Northern Africans traveled to Spain, took over Spain for 700 years, they traveled to Europe, took over Europe for 800 years, and they built them castles that you see right there. All the castles you see in Europe was built by black people. That's why they call it the Black Plague. Started in 1350. Continue on. Leonardo da Vinci. Right? Laurenti de Medici. He's important, but I'm not going to get into him. He's important, though. Make sure you study him. Lorenzo de Medici. Very important. Leonardo da Vinci was said, you know how to write, actually. You know how to write with his left and right hand at the same time. You know how to draw pictures with his left and his right hand at the same time.
That's crazy.
He designed things that were so secret that he actually had to go within Italy. There was something called villas inside Italy. Villas are basically like little town places. So when you go and study Leonardo da Vinci, he went into certain villas, which are certain towns, and he built certain aircrafts to help people fly and stuff like that. But it was so weird that he had to put it inside his own little station inside the villas. And if anyone caught him, they would have called him, you know, a witch or something like that, and they would have killed him. So he had to keep all his designs and everything within his secret society. Da Vinci was inside a secret society. He said he was in it. It ain't me. He said it. He was in a secret society with other people from the U.S. I'm not going to name them in here. But he was in a secret society. He built aircrafts, the first airplanes and stuff. You might find it from Leonardo da Vinci. Also, there was a Muslim who made it too. He made specific aircrafts, but he couldn't show it to the public because, you know, it wasn't hip to new things like that. Pope Julius II. Let's keep going. That's Queen Elizabeth, or so-called, right? Now, when you look at the real picture of Queen Elizabeth, she has an olive tone. That means that there was some sort of Moorish blood that she had inside of her. She couldn't have became the queen if there was not Moorish blood inside her, because there was no Europeans that was queens or kings back then. And you can tell because if you look at the first picture of Queen Elizabeth, the first, she has an olive tone, olivey. Abraham Lincoln has an olive tone. He was mulatto. Andrew Jackson, olive. In fact, Andrew Jackson freed his cousin from slavery. Once he became, you know, at a certain stature, he was an olive tone, which means that one of his parents, which I think it was his dad, Andrew Jackson's dad, was black. Most people don't know that.
Yeah, true.
Abraham Lincoln's mom or dad was black too. That's why he was an olive tone. So Obama was not the first mulatto.
Oh, of course.
You had John Hanson, who was black, Moor.
Yep.
You had Andrew Jackson, who was a Moor. Or half Moor, should I say. Einstein, he was slow. He wasn't really as smart as you think he is. In fact, when you study metaphysics, and you read up on study metaphysics, and you read up on how they looked at protons and neutrons and electrons, should I say? Those things, you know, they're studying atoms pretty much. Come to find out, he took it into a place where he was shown, you know, about atoms and them not existing and so on and so forth. So Einstein, if you look at one of the places he went to an exhibit, and they was trying to prove whether or not if light photons are intelligent or not. So meaning a light that you would see like in the sunlight, they want to see if the light was intelligent or if light was actually its own little thing. So what happened was he was at one of these exhibits, and I can't say his name.
Okay.
One of the people found out, you can look this up, his name is figured out that light photons are actually smarter than in fact, Einstein said himself verbatimly that what he seen was spookism. It was so scary to him that he didn't believe it, and he tried to disprove metaphysics. He tried to disprove that light photons wasn't smart because they it's called the double slit experiment. If you ever want to know what I'm talking about, look up the double slit experiment and you'll see that they figured out that a photon, which is a light particle, could actually, if it dies out, another piece of it behind itself, it actually disappears and reappears somewhere else.
Oh,
it goes into two places at one time. They say when a light photon supposedly dies, it reappears 3 steps or 3 feet behind itself, which means that proves that since we're made out of light photons, if we was to so-called pass away, we will reappear above our body or something like that, which has been proven when you study hypnotism and people who study, hypnotism. But Einstein saw something that was so spooky, which is the double slit experiment. He's seen the double slit experiment, that he tried to disprove it, and it never worked. It never worked. He could never prove that light photons are not smart. So, you have to know that. Look up the double slit experiment and look up Einstein, him being there, looking at the double slit experiment. He said that it was so spooky to him that it was scary. And Einstein himself tried to denounce it. He tried to take it out, try to see if it was actually real with his own eyes because he's seen it. He was at the experiment, and it was so spooky to him that he tried to disprove it, and Einstein failed. He failed at seeing if light photons were unintelligent, and light photons are actually intelligent. Light photons are intelligent. We know it's intelligent because it actually helps the process of photosynthesis. So it will be kind of slow for you to think that light isn't intelligent if it actually helps grow plants.
Yeah, right.
If it helps give you vitamin D, it helps give black people vitamin D. If it actually feeds you at a certain, if you think of it in a certain perception, you know what I'm saying? So Einstein was wrong with that. So when you study Einstein, realize that he wasn't as smart as he thought he was. It was all BS, all right? So. Who Sputnik is, I don't really care. Alright, so let's go. Who are these people? This is the 2000s, I don't know. All of these guys that you see on this wall, you can look out. My Masons. What does that mean? It means they're part of a fraternity, sorority group. In order for them to say what they want to say.
There's women on the wall too. Are they Masons? Okay.
Because it's sororities and it's fraternities.
Okay.
So for you to be a part of these, astronomical and the top physicists, and for you to become that, you have to go through certain processes. For you to come to the light, you have to go through the darkness. You don't just become this. You don't just, you have to go through certain things. Like I said, my teacher told me that. So it ain't just me talking. My teacher told me you have to go through fraternities or sororities for you to become certain this.
Yeah.
Because there's certain secrets that they cannot tell the public.
Yeah,
that's
true.
a fact. So for you to become, Phyllis Nicholson, you have to become a sorority. For you to become Marjorie Lee Brown, right? It don't matter if you're black. It don't matter. Asian. It don't matter. You still gotta be a part of the. You gotta be a part of the brotherhood. That's a fact. Ain't no going around that. That's a fact. They ain't gonna tell you that, But they're gonna come out soon and talk about it. Real soon. That's right here. You see it?
Yeah.
It's called inference. Inference is when that had a lot to do with the double slit experiment as well. When I talk about the light photons going through the double slit and coming out a different way, that's called inference. Interference, right? When you study interference, that has to do with waves colliding with other waves. And when the waves collide with other waves, what does it produce? Interference. And that's it right there. So when you see ripples in water, if you create a ripple on this side and you create a ripple on the other side, it creates an interference. And that's what it creates right there. It's to show you, you know, light patterns, light waves, waves and electricity. Alright, well, that's pretty much it. Okay, oh yeah, and another thing you guys should know too, that they don't tell many people, is that lightning actually doesn't start from the sky, it starts from the ground. So make sure you study that. Lightning starts from the ground. The ground sends messages to the sky, and then those photons get those messages from the ground, and then the lightning gets the message from the ground and then comes from the sky. So you have to remember that. It's the ground first, and then it comes from. In fact, they don't know whether or not the heat comes from the ground or if it comes from the sun. That's how deep it is. So we're gonna talk about that too. So anyway, that's it. That's all. I think that's all. Did I get through everything? Did I?
Yep, you did.
Alright, so this is BLACKBOOKT.TV, man. You know, I wanted to show you everything that's true inside the museum. You know what I'm saying? I specifically wanted to come to the science part because that's what I'm more, you know, into. The animalistic part, you know, they lied about that, by the way. You know, the fossils and everything that you see is a lie. The man who actually found the dinosaur bones, or who discovered some of these dinosaur bones, actually said he never found all the pieces of the dinosaur bones. So when you look at Jurassic Park and stuff like that, those are made up. Most of the paleontologists and most of the people who found those bones, they claim that most of those sculptures that they found was unfinished. So they made those, you know, Tyrannosaurus.
Yeah, I can believe that. I don't believe he found all the pieces.
You can't find 100 bones of a long neck.
Yeah, exactly.
So they made that up. So I didn't want to say it in there because there was kids in there, but they made that stuff up. So
but shit, you should have told the kids.
No, they made that stuff up. You know, it's made out of clay and stuff like that. Actually, when you study Dr. York, Dr. York says that those are reptilians. You know, and stuff like that. So, you know, I don't want to talk too much because we're inside a museum, and you know what goes on in museums at night at the museum. So we gotta get up out of here. This is BLACKBOOKT.TV, Oski Sunghai, breaking down the truth because a lot of this is lies. You know what I'm saying? The math itself is not a lie, but the people who they claim created it is a lie. So, you know, Pythagoras learned, he's a Greek who learned from Africans, okay? In Asia Minor, right? You can read that in, yeah, actually anywhere, you can read that anywhere. You can type on Google, where did Pythagoras learn his information? It's that simple, so check that out. This is BLACKBOOKT.TV, about to head up out of here, and deuces.
What's up, man? It's your boy Oski Sunghai, editor and director of BLACKBOOKT.V. You already know what it is. I already got 258, 259, I don't know, almost 260 subscribers. Please subscribe, please subscribe. All right, please subscribe. And you know, I've been looking at the comments. I've been seeing people saying their thing. I've been hearing people saying what they gotta say and their feelings, not in their feelings, appreciating it, not appreciating it, whatever. Just please look at my videos. You know what I'm saying? It's very interesting. It ain't like other people's videos, and I really appreciate it. BLACKBOOKT.TV. Peace.
Let's go.